Hey, welcome. This is Dr. Stan Harris, known as Dr. Breakthrough. I'm pleased to be your international training director. And we're going to have a special session here with Pastor Willie Peterson, minister, motivator, entrepreneur, teacher. I mean, so much more. Maybe he might even share some groups he sang with. I don't know. But anyway, but here's the thing, my friend. If you're a nonprofit, if you're connected to a nonprofit, or if you just understand there's a way of getting access. So let me back up. Would you like to get access to the money that you need? I mean, that's what he's going to be talking about. And so, my friend, I want you to get ready to hear this man. I've been married to the same woman 49 years. He and his wife just turned 69. I think he's been pastoring now 39 years maybe. And but anyway, he'll share some things with you. And here's the thing I want you to know. This guy knows the facts. He loves people. He loves to have fun, and he loves to make money while he's making a difference. He's like I am. I tell people I win souls for a living. I just do business to pay expenses and to do the upkeep and be able to help others. And so that's what he does. Pastor Peterson, would you bless the people, my friend?
My pleasure, my brother, my pleasure. I am so honored, so thankful, and so blessed to be here with you all, and that you allowed me, Dr. Stan, for you to allow me to be a part of this is so much. It's an awesome experience for me. I'm trying to see how I can make sure I share properly and to let you all see my links.
Yep. We see your screen.
Okay. Amen.
We incorporated, but you might, if you hit the play button, I think it makes it bigger because we can see all your other slides.
That's okay. On the mic button, you say?
Well, no, you need to click the slideshow button at the top menu bar.
It's hidden under this other piece that we have here. There we go. I see that. I'm seeing stuff move. How you like me now?
And then click from beginning.
Mm-hmm.
On the left, all the way to
it's right there from the start. Look at God.
There you go.
People like you are so awesome and help a brother out here. And I'm just thankful again that you all are with me and allowed me to be a part of this. I know I'm on a time schedule, and I have a lot of information that I want to share with you all. And again, I'm very thankful to Dr. Breakthrough for all of his guidance down through the years. I say years like I've known you all my life, these few months, 6-7 months now that you've been encouraging me, and I want to be thankful. So for the sake of time, let me just get started. I'm Pastor Willie Peterson. Dr. Breakthrough likes to tell people I have a history of music. When back in the day, I played with some very powerful and some awesome musicians, but through that transition, I got saved. And when I got saved and I came home to my family, I had been on the road so long, and I was really about to lose my wife and my children. She was fed up with me being gone 6, 8, 9 months a year. And although I may have, sent money and all those other things, being my presence helping, especially to raise, we had 3 boys and 1 girl. My presence was much more needed. And my wife prayed for me. This is a reality, y'all. Even when I came home off the road, there were times when we just really couldn't get together. And I would go to sleep and she would lay hands and pray for me. And I thank God for a praying woman. And 49 years later, we're still together and we're serving God together. In 2022, Dr. Stan says we're going to do some major league celebrations. So with that said, I want to talk about for a few minutes the 5 R's, the steps to writing a successful grant. These are the 5 R's that provide the steps for writing a successful grant. Because I'm known as Pastor Willie to all of you, I can't start anything without sharing a scripture. And my scripture for you today is, it's found in Galatians 6:9. It says, and let's not grow weary in well-doing. In due season, we shall reap if we don't lose heart. The King James Version of that scripture says, if we faint not. Now, again, I'm Pastor Willie. My wife and I formed what we call We Pete Inc., Willie and Ella Peterson. We formed a nonprofit. That's a for-profit that we formed to provide counseling and training. We together teach nonprofits and for-profits how to get the money and how to find the money they need to be sustainable. It's one thing to start a business, but it's another one to sustain that business. And our nonprofit has been open now for over 22 years. We've been counseling and training individuals together. She does one portion and I do another as it relates to helping organizations. I am the pastor of the New Birth Kimmerbrook Baptist Church. It's a church merger that we did in Youngstown in 2005. We were across the street in our community center hosting our church service. The church across the street, the pastor resigned, and there were some members who would attend my Bible study, and we came together and created one great ministry in our neighborhood. I'm the executive director, actually now CEO of the Center for Community Empowerment, the nonprofit we started over 20 years ago. I'm also a professor at the Youngstown State University in the social work department. But the 5 R's, everybody, if you got a pencil, please use and make some notes. This is going to come out for you all in an ebook in the beginning of September. It's going to be available. You hear me talk about that later at the end. The 5 R's for writing a successful grant. Look, our research, read, review, write. Yes, it's a W there, but it sounds like an R. Write and relationship. The 5 R's for writing a successful grant are research, read, review, write, and relationships. Listen, y'all, there's a quotation that said there are 2 things for certain in life, and they are death and taxes. And this information I'm giving you today, I've researched and I've addressed these nonprofits and community organizations. And listen, it can be the death of your organizations if you're not compliant with the laws that govern nonprofit organizations and the issues that will assist or affect your organization if you don't know what you're doing. So if you're interested, I always want to give that disclaimer. Everybody's not always interested in what I have to offer, but if you're a nonprofit and if you're a for-profit looking for ways to get more money, I can help you. I want to be your they call me now the marketplace coach. Now, have you made any of these mistakes in grant writing in the past? Not following instructions? Failing to thoroughly research the funder's interest? When I say that, oftentimes we look for what we're looking for, but what about what the funder wants? We're going to talk about that in a minute. Focusing on the proposal and not the need of your organization. Careless editing. We type fast, even though the computer is supposed to help us edit, sometimes we miss stuff. Preaching to the choir. We're saying the same thing over and over and over. Not asking for the money. What? Or the wrong amount. Submitting sloppy budgets to the proposer, to your funder. You don't want to do that. You want to make sure every duck is in a row. And then sometimes we've written such a good grant, guess what? We forgot how to ask or forgot to even ask for the money. Now, in order to do that, you got to know where to find the money. You got to know who they're out there and what, why and how are your nonprofits funded. They're funded in these manners. I want to give you this tidbit. Your fees for goods and services. You can get individual donations and major gifts, bequests, corporate contributions. There are corporations out there that give to nonprofit. Foundation grants. We talk a lot about that in my challenges and in my webinars. You get government grants, corporation grants, interest from investments, loans, program-related investments, tax revenues, and memberships and dues and fees. Where do you find this money? Foundations, corporations, government funding, individual donors, online and virtual fundraising. I don't have time to get in that. Some other time I've got, and we'll be posting these on the site. You'll be able to learn all of these different locations and how to find that money working with them. But primarily my focus is, I usually teach most people how to do these here. Find federal, state, local grant funding, such as foundations, Walmarts, Targets, your banks, where to find your money right where you are. And then government grants. Government.gov is a great location to do that. So now, since you started off with this and we were talking about the 5 R's of successful grant writing, the very first one I want you to write down and pay attention to is called research. The first R is research. How to find the right funder. Think about this. You look for the people who can fund your vision. You don't just, I tell most organizations that I work with, don't chase the money, chase your vision. If God called you to something, especially if you're a nonprofit, if you believe this is the area you want to work in, then you want to find the funders who are going to fund the area that you want to work in. It makes your work much more fun and not as hard. Then you want to know who's looking for the funds, who are you looking to fund what you want to do. So you want to find those funders that want to give you money for what you want to do. But guess what? Those funders are looking for people who they can fund what they want you to do. There are companies, there are nonprofits, there are banks that will give you money for specific goals. I'll show you that in a minute. And who are they? They're federally, they're statewide, they're local. And again, these are foundation people in your community that will help fund your vision. Remember, fund your vision. All right, now, second R is read. First one is what? Research. You want to find the people. You want to look for the ones. You want to make sure you can find the one that can fund your vision. Then you want to read. Once you find the funder, you get what we call an RFP, a request for proposal. And when you're doing that, now that you found the funder, you need to thoroughly read that request for proposal. Don't skim over pages. Don't jump pages. You get a 31-page, 40-page RFP. Don't skip over it. Read it all. Read it all. Read it all and thoroughly read it and take some highlights, underline some things, make some notes. So that you want to make sure that they're going to help you. If you got a senior program, find the funder that wants to fund seniors, children, family. You want to do community development, mentoring. Almost most of our cities, they have what's called a community development block grant done by your local community that will help you fund many of the things you want to do. I got so much to give so fast, but these are good. This is good for you. It tells you what they want. So when you read it, you'll read it because what you're reading tells you what they want. It tells you what they'll do for you, and it also tells you how to get it done. Read it. Third R, ready? Review. You research, you read it. Now go back and review that thing. You've underlined what you read. You've highlighted some specific things. So after reading, making notes, highlighting what the funders are asking for, now it's time to go back and review those notes. Look at what you read, and then check again at what the funder's asking you to do, not what you want to do. Yes, you have a vision, but you want to make sure it matches your vision. Too often we'll write grants because it's what we want to write. We're writing them to the wrong people, and you're wasting your time and theirs. And I've been a grant reviewer in the past on a state level, and we get these funding, we get these grants sent in, and they don't match anything we just asked to do. And if you're looking at hurricane relief, don't write me a grant that tells me how you want to do babysitting. You want to make sure you check on what the funder asked for you to do. I can get through this in the right amount of time. Listen, you got research, you read, what? Then you review, then you start writing. Give the funder what they asked for. Simple as that. You've already highlighted it. You've already underlined it. Tell them back what they said. I always tell people, if you're going to pray what the Bible tells you to pray. Tell God what he told you. You're going to get your answer. If a funder says, I want to fund children, don't ask for money for seniors. It's not going to work. Give them what they asked for and write down what they said. It's okay to take a page from their book and put it in your grant. Here's what you want to write, what they said. You're writing to match your need, the funder's need, and also the community's need. That's very important. When you're writing your grant, your narrative for that grant, you're writing to meet your need, you're writing to meet the funder's need, and you're writing that grant, and that, especially in that, the thick part of your grant is going to be that narrative, telling about your organization, answering what they're asking you to write about, and then telling them what and how you're going to spend that money and how you're going to report that money, all in a narrative. And then you go to the other tidbits. The fifth R, and really, I got this one recently as I was sharing this and teaching a class. That fifth R is building relationships, y'all. Who are you? You don't want to just walk into a bank, foundation at a bank, and you say, well, I want to get $20,000 to do so and so and so and so. Well, who are you? What do you do? Where do you come from? You want to begin building relationships with the funders. Even if you go to an RFP, federally, state, and local, start calling these individuals and introducing yourself. Find out who's reviewing the grant. There's usually a review team, but somebody leads that review team with the organization you're working with. You want to make sure you are finding out these individuals. When you get a grant, somewhere in the top pages or even the back pages of the grant, they're going to specifically ask you or tell you who's in charge. Call those people when they have a grant review, and they're going to, most of them have before grants are really released or right after they're released, they have a time when they review the grant with anybody that gets on the call or on the Zoom. In the past, it used to be, you could actually come to the offices and they'll do that, and they'll do a question and answer period. They get to know you, build your relationship. You want to know who you're working with, and they want to know who they're working with. You need to build a relationship with your funder, and it helps them know who you are and help them know what you do. And guess what? It helps them know your mission. The mission of our organization is to build the body, well, that's the church, is to empower disadvantaged families towards self-sufficiency. That's a broad statement that I can use in various areas to meet needs of a funder, but meet the needs of my community. And when I'm looking for a grant that's gonna allow me to meet certain needs, I'm looking for one, but I'm calling and I'm looking to build a relationship. 5 R's, the 5 R's. These are the Power 5 is what I call them in grant writing, the Power 5. The 5 R's for writing a successful grant is research, read, review, write, and build relationships. That's what we do at Willie Peterson Associates again. And you can find me on my Facebook page, and you can get more information. Join me. I don't know how much commercial time I have, but I just want to tell you where you can get to me and I can get to you. I have these Facebook pages. Pastor Willie Peterson is my main page, but specifically for the work that we do, marketplace coaching, these other two, Pastor Willie Official, Get More Grants Facebook page, and then my websites are posted as well, WePete Inc. and Get More Grants Now. You can join me. I'm on live 2 days a week. Yesterday, or in fact, this morning at 9 a.m. Every Wednesday morning, we do that hump day thing for you to help. We encourage you to get through the week. It's Eastern Standard Time, Willie Pete Live, Willie Peterson Live. And then every Friday, the one that I just enjoy the most, on Friday, every Friday at noon. Thank God it's Faith Fridays, TGIFF. Again, you can log into that. And then beginning after September 15th, right after that week, I'll have my own YouTube channel where I'll be giving all this information. And I thank you for listening, getting some of this. Again, let me help you. Willie Peterson, Marketplace Coach. And some of the resources, the areas that you'll see on the post, this is getting ready to be posted for you all to get. And so I want to make sure you have that. Dr. Stan, I wanted to show, if I'm allowed, are you there, Dr. Stan?
Yes, sir, man. This is powerful, powerful. And I'm sure folks are writing this information down here right now. And by the way, that Faith Friday, is that on?
You go to my Facebook page.
Facebook page? Okay, so it's not Clubhouse.
No, not on Club.
Okay.
This is live. I'm on,
Okay.
just like you
Awesome,
see me
awesome.
now, you'll see me there. We did a Zoom, but there were some complications. Eventually, I'm going to be doing that through Zoom, but you just log in. And when you log into any one of my Facebook pages, they link. So, my churches Get More Grants as well. I don't know if I'm allowed to do this, even though I've already, can you see that post there?
We can see featured resources.
You're still on the featured resource page?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Could I change page to my Get More Grants? I mentioned my challenge. Can I make an offer? Can I help some folks save some money?
All righty. Yes, sir.
Let me see if I can make a quick change here and stop that share. All right. And then I want to give you guys, I'd like to give some folk, you know how you guys have always taught me to give some money away. So let me see if I can share this page with you, and I'm going to try to I'll come back here now. I don't want to do that one. I want to do this one.
Well, while he's doing that, let me see is anybody getting something out of this? Has this been blessing people? Come on now. Are you appreciating Pastor Peterson?
Most definitely.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Great
sir.
job.
Awesome information.
Great job. Thank you so much.
Awesome
We appreciate you.
information.
Awesome,
Much
Pastor.
information, much needed.
Great
Yes, I need it.
information.
Bless your heart.
Phenomenal.
Thank you. I won't stay here long, but on September 15th through the 17th, I'm hosting another challenge. It's intensive. You don't have to record this part, Dr. Stan, but it is an intensive one. It's